really excited to be here, yes. My role is the Digital Transformation Officer at Conga. One of the reasons I love my job is because I get to work with every size organisation, from small organisations to global organisations, and helping them manage probably one of the most important business processes in a business: how businesses connect and sell and understand their customers. Revenue operations is a subject I am massively passionate about. And there's kind of 4 key areas we focus on when we talk about transforming the revenue operations process. First one is how you propose and quote and send information to customers. Are you getting the right products, the right price, and the right information to the right customer? How does that move then into how you then align with all your contracts, all your terms and conditions? Are you compliant? Right through to when the contract is signed and how you manage contract obligations. Right through to then how you fulfill orders. Are you exceeding and delivering everything that you promise to your customers? To invoicing, collecting revenue, analysing revenue and how your company is performing. And most importantly, right through to how you renew and expand with customers. This is a very, very important process in every business. So when we look at why revenue operations is so important and why I actually love the concept of revenue operations, because it's all about how organizations can build processes, systems, and teams. Everything is built around people. It's about improving the employee experience. COVID has really made organizations care more about their teams. If I'm working from home, can I still be included? We keep talking about inclusion. Do your systems make it easy for people to be able to work from home and stay connected and not feel the pressure of not being in an office? How do you make sure that you're building something that actually helps your teams collaborate and increase productivity regardless of where they're working from? It's also about making sure that you build an end-to-end business process, not a sales process, not a legal process, but an end-to-end business process, and making sure that all the data is moving from one team seamlessly to the next. All of this is really important in understanding the power of the intelligence that you need to understand your customers so you can get that performance through AI and machine learning. If you don't have your core data processes systems, the system of record in place, the data to be trusted in the first place, everything else will fall behind. So revenue operations is about getting all of your teams, all of your processes, all of your systems, all on the same time. In order to do this, you need to have the alignment and the adoption of your tech stack, empowering people to work from anywhere. By doing this, you will then improve your customer's experience. You will then, when your customers are interacting with you, they will get the right product, they'll get the right price. You can cross-sell the different products easily to them because the systems already know what needs to happen. You'll be able to do more tailored engagement. Because you've bought this, you're more likely to buy this, and this is what I'd expect from a customer from you to want from our business. It's about accelerating negotiations. Don't let your contract negotiations slow down your sales cycle. It's about making sure you have predictable billing. You've got visibility on cash flow. You're helping your customers be better with their customers. And that's what it's all about, revenue operations. It's about taking your marketing, sales, and every team right through to customer success. Make them come together and collaborate and maintain focus on a single goal. Every team in your business is accountable for generating revenue. They impact the customer, whether they're selling to a customer, dealing with a complaint, dealing with an order fulfillment. Everybody's accountable for driving revenue. So it's vitally important that all of your teams have access to the customer data and you start to become very intelligent around the customer experience. However, making this become a reality is a real challenge for organizations. And the reasons it's a challenge is because today, all of these individual processes are very siloed. So proposals and quote very much leave with your sales teams. They're the ones focused on making sure they're getting the orders out and they're liaising with customers. The next process, legal teams and still the sales team are kind of working on the whole negotiation of contracts, making sure it's happening. The next stage is all about managing and fulfillment, totally different team. right through to how you want to renew with your customer success teams. The biggest challenges that we're finding with organizations today is that these processes are heavily siloed. And the reason is that because they're heavily siloed is there's so many problems within each of these processes. Everyone's trying to sort their department out. And the biggest failings around digital transformation is people normally fix this solution for a department. They're not building it for the end-to-end business. They're not making sure that any data and intelligence that's in one department moves to the next department seamlessly. So revenue operations is all about making sure you digitally transform your business, making sure that data will move across your technology, across your processes, and most importantly, across the teams. So they always feel, regardless of where they're working, they can stay connected to each other and stay connected to your customer. So when we look at what we want to deliver and how we want to help customers around digital transformation, we want to give them transformational capabilities to make sure they maximize revenue yield in every customer interaction through making more connected customer experience. So whether your customers are buying online, through your sales team, through a partner, they have a similar experience. The data is there at the center, and you've got machine learning capabilities constantly learning about that customer, how they want to buy, where they want to buy, what's the best products that most suit them. Revenue operations is about making this connected customer experience and building an ecosystem around every single touch point with your customers. So a lot of organizations will say to me every single time, how do we do this? Well, when we look at it and we're transforming a business, they get very focused in what the new world will look like. So they're ready to talk about the new contracts. I did this. I managed an entire transformation global project. And we built our new systems very focused on the new way of working. And then I planned, what happens when I have to renew contracts? That's great. But my biggest challenge was around, what about the 6,000 contracts I already have that are in another system, that have a wealth of data and intelligence that are not in my new world? How do I get that data and legacy information seamlessly into a new system that I don't lose and have a knowledge gap between my old world and the new transformation project I'm trying to build? This is one of the fundamental projects that caused me so many pain points. Building the new world was painful enough, but getting that legacy data and intelligence into a system that I could actually do something with the data. And this is where Conga come massively involved in. We've got intelligence to be able to take those contracts and actually be able to use AI to be able to understand the detail within it. So we're not manually checking every single contract. And this is one of the things around creating this seamless end-to-end revenue operations lifecycle that we call it. But when I look at the revenue operations lifecycle, I broke it into 4 quadrants. You know, we talked massively around propose and quote. But in that, it has different phases that every organization will need to do. Configure your products. What are the products you're trying to configure? What are your pricing? Ramp pricing, volume pricing, customer-specific pricing. Where's all that logic sit today? How is it understood? How is it analyzed? How do you know you're getting smarter with every transaction? Then it goes through to cart management. How do you manage promotions? Turn them off, turn them on, different customers. How does all this work across multiple channels? We also then look at how you generate documents. How are you getting those proposals to customers? What do they look like? Are they on brand? Most importantly, are they accurate? You know, this will then follow into, like we said, all the negotiation, how you manage your clauses, negotiation with customers, your redlining. Legal teams are in one room, salespeople are in another. People are still using paper and passing documents around. People are actually using email and forgetting who has the latest version of the contract. This is what kills the sales cycle. So keeping all of this within a system that everyone is able to work from anywhere and have access to data and be all looking at the latest version is the smartest way of how you move through your contracting process. Right through to how you manage the obligations, fulfill your orders, do your invoicing. Why are so many finance teams so frustrated? Normally because by the time they get the sales order through, a million things are hidden in the background. And guess what? The invoice has gone out that needs to be called back because it's got the wrong information on it. This is the real pain points I deal with when I work with organizations. So helping organizations make sure when I was building my proposal and quote engine, I built it for my finance system too. One of my biggest learnings of my transformation project was my finance people had more say in my build of my CPQ tool for proposals and quotes than my salespeople, because they wanted us to stop doing the things that stopped us collecting revenue. So making this a more transformed digital process means that every team can work from anywhere and get the right information. And we can get to the final step. It's all about how we renew and expand with customers. Exceed their expectations. Understand them. Don't feel they have to tell 50 different conversations to 50 different people over and over again. Their information is passed from one team to the next. But one thing you have to know in every transformation project, you're not just transforming your technology and your processes, because they look great on a whiteboard. Processes always look fantastic on a whiteboard. Don't forget to take the people on the journey with you. What do they do today? You know, who are the people involved in every process, whether it's your sales teams, your approvers, your legal teams, right through to the people who fulfill orders, who then invoice and collect revenues and have to speak to customers probably daily. That could impact the next sale if they have the wrong experience. Right through the important team, your customer success team. And these normally are very frustrated because they've got to manage the day-to-day side of it. So when we look at this revenue operations processes and transforming, there's a lot of technology, there is a lot of process steps, but most importantly, the most important thing, there are a lot of people involved that need to work together and collaborate to make sure that you always give the exceptional customer experience. So when we look at this now and we look to the next slide, it's all about how do you move data and intelligence. It's all about the system of record. This is a term we use a lot with our CEO and our CTO, massively around the system of record. This means at every stage of this cycle, I was collecting data. I was learning about the customer on their journey, what they bought, how they like to buy, which channel they like to buy on, which of the terms and conditions they wanted to negotiate on. Where was my risk in my contracts? Which obligations did I need to make sure I needed to fulfill? What's my invoicing schedule? Where's my cash flow? Most importantly, where my predictable churn? So many organizations lose customers, and that's when they found out they lost a customer, when it was too late. We want to start building this ultimate system of record, your true customer intelligence, so you become more proactive as a sales organization. You start to now connect with your customers, understand and spot risk sooner. So the system of record is really the holy grail. Then once you have that, you can play with the AI, the machine learning, all of the great things, because everyone trusts the data in the system. But everyone's got to trust it to believe it. And it's all about making sure this is all in place. So when we look at organizations, they say, Ash, this is great. I get all the steps. I need all the processes. Here are my teams. Where do I start? You know, how do I really get a handle on my transformation? It's a lot of words, a lot of terminology, and a lot of people. So what we say is land on a quadrant where your biggest pain point is. So we have a transformation model that helps organizations get a handle on this. And it's all about starting with the assessment with the system of record. What is the data in this process? What are your products? What are your pricing? How do you work? Where do they live? How do you need to update? Is there a competitor in your landscape that could supersede you? Are you an incumbent that could be taken out by a new entrant simply because they're able to get to your customers smarter? They introduce a new pricing model. I learned more about pricing options by buying a CPQ tool and working with experts that told me what I could actually do with pricing. And it made me really think, and our business think, about our pricing methodology and how we were generating revenue. So it's all about understanding the data layer and the system of record, but what is your business model? And where is that data? And is it accessible to the teams that need it? Then we go through into the template management. Now I need to put all the templates in the system. I don't want salespeople creating their own proposals and quotes. That can be very dangerous. As beautiful as our salespeople are and great as you are at selling, I don't want you representing our brand. Stick to your strengths. You know, you are the voice of the company, but templates, if you put them into the system, it makes it easier for the sales reps. My job is to work with customers, identify their need, find the right products, select them, and the document appears. It's on brand. It's got everything it looks like. Everything is needed. And I got it to the customer within an hour. That is what you want to do. Instantly, you're good at selling and you get the right products in, but the document is instant. It hits the customer straight away. It's impactful. Once you have all your templates in, then we want to assess process automation. Salespeople don't like data. They don't like putting it in the same information in 5 different places. That's what turns them off the system. That's what makes them move to Excel spreadsheets. Oh, where's your latest deals? Oh, it's in my spreadsheet. I'll add it to CRM on Friday before I get checked. And these are the things that happen with every single sales rep I work with. So what do we work on is, let's look at automating some of these processes. Let's not be too strict on them. Let's work on, what can I automate? What can I make seamlessly happen? They've added this data, I will put it in 3 different places. I need an approval process, it automatically goes to everybody. Someone's on holiday, the system will know, send it to the secondary approver. So the customer is not waiting for something. So automation is vitally important, especially since COVID. Especially now because people are working from home. You want to make the employee experience better? I can work from anywhere. And that's the world we need to start creating. So automation is probably one of the biggest talk tracks that we will do with organizations. Take the pain out and make the employee experience good. Because if their employee experience is good, your customer experience is going to be even better. And then the next piece is where we'll talk about integration. I'm only fixing your proposals and quotes. Salespeople are happy. Can I just check I'm not creating a problem for someone else? Then understanding what other technology you're on. Even if I'm not fixing that, we're not here to fix everything all the time, and that's okay. But I'm not here to create a problem for tomorrow or another team. So integration is where you do your mind map of technology systems, where data needs to go, and how data needs to be understood in different systems. And by getting this right, you will take your organization to the truly intelligent state. Because data is understood, it's labeled correctly across multiple systems, and you can then start to look at sales performance, customer performance, what's working and what's not. Introduce guided selling. This sales rep is phenomenal. He always sells this way. Let's put guided selling in so every other rep that comes in that's new can get the prompts. Try this product, try this. So you're almost always learning on the job. For me, data and intelligence has to drive business outcomes. I don't just want to talk about AI, I want it to change my business. And in order to do that, the transformation model is making sure that you get every step right. Users are on the system, data is moving, they like using the system, you're not killing them with boring processes, and you're making the sales process better. So the transformation model is a really significant play, and it's working with organizations today because there's logic to it. And like I said, we'll take a process, and I will normally do this drawing with an organization with a whiteboard, or our business transformation team will, and we'll talk about system of record. I want to know about your products. I want to know about your pricing. I want to know about your cart management. Now take me through to your documents. I just send it and it goes out. Easy sales process. Oh, you have a more complicated process. You need people to be able to collaborate on a quote internally. So they don't email and phoning. It's all done within the system so everyone can see it. We can automate that. Then we look at, oh, what about special pricing? What if the customer now wants to negotiate back and forth and we still want everyone to see it and not to be hidden in an email? We can automate that. And then when you get to that stage, it's all about approval processes. It needs to happen fast. You got the customer interested, you got the products, you got the documents. One of your approvers is on holiday. The sales cycle stops. Can't have that happen. Your competitor will go in with the right price. You need to have what are your secondary backup plans so this sale order goes to the customer. But most importantly, as I said, this is great. I've got one process quadrant correct. Now I'm thinking about if I'm doing a renewal, well, the customer's already got products and pricing. I need that to seamlessly come in and not have the new rep sell new pricing when they've already got existing pricing. So we need to make sure that information is available to reps. But either way, when you've got all of this configured for and digitalized within the system and you're able to send out the orders, then you get to the integration stage. This is where we ask, great, salespeople are done. They've got the order out. Where does the data and information need to go? Back to the CLM system? Back to your CRM, so you can do global reporting, over to your ERP. Am I doing this sale and configuring this data that it can go seamlessly and it's configured and structured the right way so it can actually go through to the final stages? And this is where it's most important that we look at, is understanding the business processes and what needs to happen at every single stage of your process and where we can do the right data with the system of record, the right templates of all the documents that need to go out for this particular process, automate as much as possible, make sure it's configured for other systems and other teams within the business. This takes organizations to the truly intelligent state. But I'd ask, what are the reports you want? I ask salespeople for reports, I get 50 of them. I want all these reports, this is going to change my world and make me a better salesperson. I create them, they never use them. I check, and they don't use them. So for me, it's all about why are we building data, what reporting and intelligence do we need, who needs it, and how do I validate it? AAA metrics. Is it available? Is it actionable? And is it auditable? Is it there I can backtrack and actually everyone understands that this is to be true? So each phase of the 4 quadrants, what we're really, really, really out to do is make sure it's all about intelligent selling. And this is all about where we'll take a quadrant process, we'll fix it and understand the process, then I'll talk to you about technology. Then we'll show you the different features within our products, which is the level down in the wheel, that are the features your business will need to be able to ensure that you're actually building and buying software to deliver business outcomes. So we want to make sure is that when you've configured your products and done your solution selling and your guided selling, you got your right pricing, your cart management is right, you got your quote looking beautiful, it's got approved and it's gone to a customer, you have higher win rates. You maximize revenue in every deal. You didn't leave money on the table. And most importantly, you have a faster sales cycle. And this is what we do for our customers. And we've seen today already a huge, like 33 improvement on quote accuracy from our customers. A 28%, God, I need good eyesight to be able to read that, in reduction in being able to making sure there's no rogue discounting. I'm not being tough on sales, but you like kind of do your discounting when needed to get a sale in the door in the last quarter. We got to make sure the business is able to get a handle on that. And then we look at be able, but most importantly, a 25 increase on win rate. Winning more deals with customers. And this is probably where we then say, the final one at 25% as well, increase in average deal size. So it's really, really important that you see that what we're building here is about improving business performance. Yes, I'm talking a lot about technology. We talk a lot about the actual processes and what needs to happen. But what we're really focused on in any digital transformation project is about business outcomes that are measured and trusted, and you're learning all the time. And you're not just by people talking or even by your standard reporting. You need to introduce then the machine learning, the AI intelligence that's watching behaviors in the background, that is watching data move, it's watching data change, and it's seeing if I change one thing here, did it make impact on my business? Did I change what I needed to change? And what it's about is about becoming more about predictable business growth and actually not just always being in a reactive state, which many organizations are. So when we look at this, we'll take this process and it can be applied across the revenue operations lifecycle. So whether your first pain point is in your legal side, in your CLM and how you're negotiating contracts, or it's in the revenue side, in the billing and the renewals and the fulfilling side, or whether it's in the proposal quote. The idea of it is many organizations don't know where to start because they've got lots of pain points. Start somewhere, get it right, build it for everywhere, and go on a transformation journey. But make sure you start to build systems that actually enable data to drive your decisions, and you're not relying on what the last guy said or what the new guy thinks should happen. Everything starts to be about data, transformation, and continuous learning, and making sure that you never allow yourself to be disconnected from customers again. Because without your customers, somebody will be very happy to take them away from you. So keeping that connection, keeping them with you, and knowing what they're doing, customer intelligence. Yes, 360 view is good. Customer intelligence is where the future state will be, making sure you stay connected with your customers. So I'm going to invite Scott back on to the stage if there's any questions.
Paul, how about a round of applause for another great presentation? Huh? Really great presentation, and you hit 25 minutes exactly.
I know, I was watching the clock.
I know, it's great work. Okay, so we've had lots of questions, obviously, and I know there are some sales professionals in the audience here as well, so they've probably been listening very intently. Do you feel that the safety net of out of sight, out of mind halts companies adopting an end-to-end solution, i.e. legacy backlog?
Yes, it really, really is. A lot of, when I go into a business to do a transformation piece, I get normally what a leader will say, this is what's happening. And I go, can I just go check? And then I actually go into the teams. And my hardest job sometimes is when I go back and go, do you see that thing that you think is happening? That's not what's happening. They don't do what you think they're doing. They're actually doing this. But there's a reason why people behave the way they do. So a lot of it is about finding those behaviors of what's hidden and it's out of sight and it's out of mind and bringing it to the forefront and making people that are trying to keep it out of sight very visible. Sometimes salespeople don't want the process to change. I kind of have my little world. I don't need everyone to know what I'm doing all the time. But it's really important that you address those fears and you overcome them, but you make it's okay to be mistakes. And mistakes have happened, and mistakes are the norm. So for me, out of sight, out of mind, bring it to the forefront. Legacy systems, bad things happened, you've got to move forward. But if you don't look back and learn, you're moving forward blindly. So really, out of sight, out of mind, it's an unsafe comfort zone.
Okay. I don't relate to any way that you characterised salespeople just then, by the way, in terms of not liking a change of process. Okay. What industries do you feel have been the last to look at a more holistic approach? And is this down to the inherent nature of those industries?
For me, what I find is that I work across all industries, because as Conga does, and I love multiple different industries. I think where you find, I don't like to say necessarily it's different industries. I think it's merely different personas in an organization. Because like I said, change, some people are really good with change. Some of them have very manual processes, and the idea of change is just unheard of. So for me, it's not that I find it in a vertical. When I go into organizations, you always have people that super want to change and transform. Then you have the people that are like, my process, I've always done it this way. You can't, or the fear of, I'm going to lose my job. You're automating my job. And you're like, no, I'm just going to use your skills a lot better. So for me, I don't think it's necessary that industries are falling behind, because everyone I speak to across different industries are super keen to do it. It's the how. And it's normally the biggest reasons most of the surveys say that transformation projects fail is cultural transformation. Taking people on that journey. So for me, yes, Scott, I think it's more, rather than specific, I think it's more persona-based in organizations, getting organizations to collaborate, but giving them a voice. They've always done it this way. Learn how they do it, where their pain points are, and then try to solve the user's problem versus just the CEO's. So I'm not going to go industry specific, because I see it commonly across all sectors.
Okay, great. And just one final question. How would you combat fatigue in staff during a long period of change?
Yeah, so the thing about it is we always say a big thing at Conga, speed to value. Don't build this big system, and there's 3 ways that I've always said, it's not just about training. I always say it's about education, then do training, and then do the support after it. So do a build, and then you educate them why you're doing it. You make them part of the change. You release it, and then you train them on it, and then you support them. But do it in agile cycles. And then, because when they get quick wins, people get energy. It's when they had to learn too much and they had to educate, and it's all too much, then you fatigue them out. So the idea of it is bring them on the journey and know the difference between education and training. It's really important. My biggest mistake was I went straight to training. And then I remember teaching the sales team, and I was like, you do this, and then you click here, and then you click there, and they're on their mobile phones. And I'm gone. Then they had to send an order out, and my phone goes crazy. And they're like, hey, can you help? And I'm like, I remember you. You were on your mobile phone when I was doing the training. But it wasn't just their fault. It was my fault. Because I never set the sales team up going, hey, this is cool. This is why we want you to do it. This is what you get out of it. Learn this. Or I won't pick up the phone when you call me when you're panicked was probably more realistic. So I think for the whole fatigue thing, take people on the journey, small starts, educate, train, support. I think that'll give you a successful transformation.
Okay, a wonderful way to end the session. So thank you, Ash.
Thank you.